Hey friends, if you know me, you know that I love to find out all kinds of new and interesting facts. And I found this book that filled me up with so many new facts. It's a science book called Saturn Could Sail and Other Fun Facts. It's by Laura Lynn DiSiena and Hannah Eliot, and it's illustrated by Pete Oswald and Aaron Spurgeon. Saturn could sail. I did not know that. 3, 2, 1, blast off. We are on our way to outer space. Come along for the ride. Did you know that there are 8 planets in the solar system? Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. There used to be 9, but in 2006, Pluto was named a dwarf planet. Did you know that many of the planets have rings, but the rings on Saturn are the only ones that can be seen from Earth? How about that those rings are not solid? They're made up of bits of ice, rock, and dust. Or that Saturn spins so fast that one whole day is less than 11 hours. Okay, maybe you knew those things. But did you know that Saturn could sail? You see, Saturn is the least dense planet in the solar system. It is made up mostly of gas. Earth, on the other hand, is made up of rocks and other matter. Because Saturn is so light, if there was a body of water big enough to hold it, it could float. If you stuck a mast on it and added some cloth, it could sail too. You know what would really make Saturn sail? Some wind. And you know what planet has the fastest winds? It's Neptune, the planet furthest from the sun. On Neptune, winds can reach up to 1,500 miles per hour. Neptune is the 4th largest planet in our solar system and is called an ice giant because it is made mostly of, that's right, ice. Did you know that every planet has seasons just as Earth does? The length and type of the season depends on how tilted toward the sun each planet is. Now let's go back to Neptune for a moment. Unlike the seasons on Earth, which each last 3 months, each season on Neptune lasts more than 40 years. The other planets have surprising season lengths as well. On Venus, seasons are pretty short, just about 2 months each. On Saturn, a season can last for 7 years, and on Jupiter, about 3 years. The planets aren't only tilted toward the sun, they also revolve or orbit around the sun. In fact, everything in the solar system revolves around the sun. Do you know why? It's because the gravitational pull of the sun is so powerful that it attracts all the other objects to it. That's what gravity is, the force that attracts one object to another. It's also the reason you're sitting or standing here right now. Earth's gravity is pulling you toward it. Did you know that Jupiter has something called the Great Red Spot? And that this spot is actually a gigantic storm that has been raging on for hundreds of years? Jupiter is the largest planet in our solar system. It is so big that 1,300 Earths could fit in it. Astronomers, scientists who study outer space, have been using telescopes to observe our solar system since the 1600s. But did you know that there wasn't an actual scientific definition for what a planet is until recently? The word planet comes from the Greek word planets, which means wanderer. I think it's Planides. Unlike the stars astronomers were seeing, which were points of light fixed in one spot, some objects seem to wander around the sky throughout the year. So they were called planets. Do you know what the planets are really doing when they wander? They're orbiting around the sun. Astronomers may study the sky in space, but astronauts go into space. The first person to go into space did so on April 12, 1961. Since then, only about 530 people have traveled there. Did you know that a space shuttle could travel so fast around the Earth that the people on board could see a sunrise or sunset every 45 minutes? Did you know that spacesuits protect astronauts from the extremely hot and cold temperatures of outer space? Or that some astronauts train for spacewalks on what's called a precision air-bearing floor? This is like a giant air hockey table where jets of air allow the astronauts to move without friction. Cool. Speaking of sports, during one space mission, an astronaut named Alan Shepard hit a golf ball while on the moon. Actually, he hit 2 golf balls, and they're both still there. Do you know what else is probably still on the moon? The footprints of anyone who's ever visited. And why is that? It's because there's no atmosphere on the moon, so there's no wind or water to destroy the footprints. That's so cool. Have you ever seen a bright streak of light across the night sky? Do you know what that's called? A shooting star. Amazing. But did you know that an actual shooting star isn't a star at all? It's actually a small piece of rock or dust called a meteoroid that moves really fast, sometimes as much as 160,000 miles per hour. When it passes through Earth's atmosphere, it burns up, leaving a bright tail behind it. Does this have you wondering what a regular star is made of? Well, a star is a huge sphere of very hot, glowing gas. Twinkle, twinkle. Stars come in a variety of sizes and colors. Can you believe that our sun, as big as it is just an average-sized star? Average-sized stars are yellow, while small stars are reddish and large ones are blue. Astronomers have even discovered a star composed entirely of diamond. Ooh. A constellation is a very distinct and recognizable pattern of stars in the sky. You can see these patterns by connecting the stars, just as you would connect the dots. Some of the patterns make animals or objects that are familiar to us. Something you might not know is that the sun is the only star in our solar system. All the stars that we see at night when we're looking at the constellations are actually in solar systems far away. Wow. Have you ever wondered why the moon looks yellow or orange, especially when it first rises at night? This is due to the atmosphere. You see, when the moon is near the horizon, there's a lot of atmosphere for its light to pass through. By the time the moonlight gets to your eyes, the green, blue, and purple parts of the visible light have been scattered by the air molecules, so you only see yellow, orange, or red. It takes the moon about 27 days to orbit around Earth, and during that time, the moon goes through 8 phases. The moon is known for having tons of craters on it. And where do those craters come from, you ask? They came from comets and asteroids that crashed into the moon billions of years ago. Comets are cosmic snowballs made up from frozen gases, dust, and rock. Comets come from the Kuiper Belt and the Oort cloud. These snowballs may have crashed into Earth as well, and that's where Earth may have gotten its water. Asteroids, on the other hand, are metallic, rocky bodies. They can be found in an asteroid belt with thousands of other asteroids orbiting the sun. Did you know there's something in space that we cannot see, no matter how powerful a telescope we look through? It's called a black hole. That's a place in space where gravity's pull is so strong that not even one bit of light can get out. Even though they're technically invisible, special telescopes that float in space can help find black holes. They spot them because stars that are near the holes give off high-energy light. Astronomers think there may be millions of black holes in Earth's galaxy. By the way, you know what Earth's galaxy is called? It's called the Milky Way. And the reason we say Earth's galaxy is because there are actually hundreds of billions of galaxies in the universe. The Milky Way is a very active galaxy. It's constantly changing. In fact, did you know that new stars are being born all of the time in our galaxy? A team of astronomers is still trying to figure out exactly how many stars are produced and how often, but they think it's about 7 new stars per year. Stars are born in large clouds of gas and dust. They're called nebulas. The clouds eventually start to shrink under their own gravity, and as they get smaller, they break apart into pieces. Then the temperature of those pieces starts to rise. When it hits about 20 million degrees Fahrenheit, that's hot, the pieces become stars. The farthest a spacecraft has ever gone is to the edge of our solar system. Voyager 1, a research craft launched into space in 1977, flew past Jupiter and Saturn. It even discovered active volcanoes on one of Jupiter's moons. Voyager 1 continues to float in space. It carries with it a greeting of message of sounds and images that show life and culture on Earth in case it ever meets any form of life. Did you know that in the same year that Voyager 1 was launched, so was Voyager 2? Voyager 2's purpose was to explore Uranus and Neptune, which it has done. And since Uranus is made mostly of ice, and Neptune is made of solid core surrounded by gas, unlike Saturn, those planets sure couldn't sail. Holy cow. Could you imagine you'd ever find out all of those cool facts? I'd love to hear some that you can.